Hey, what's up guys? This is Oakley and I'm going to be running you through a couple still frame shots that I took of CA's latest, basically Attila Total War trailer entitled White Horse. So go ahead and check the link below if you want to see the whole thing in its entirety. I'm just going to be breaking apart the different things. So first and foremost, we're going to start in an overview map of the campaign map itself. Now this is kind of what the campaign map looks like. If you remember, you can toggle through different views of the campaign map, and this is the geographic view where it simplifies everything down to the basically the core elements, roads, impassable terrain, stuff like that. It makes it much easier to understand, and they kind of use this tool to make a more cinematic, old, rustic, authentic map looking feel. And then they zoom over here to the northeastern corner, which is going to be where the Huns are at, and it just goes to show that basically they're going to be coming in from the area around Kazakhstan, and then we get this background image where it kind of looks like Rome 1 Total War, where in the background you have the troops marching by. So this may be perhaps what will turn into the theme for the menu, but it's very apocalyptic. You can just get that feel and what they're going for. And then you can see the Huns in the background. Basically, they're going to be having their bows and arrows typically, but then also they're armed with swords and other equipment. They are known for using the lasso, actually, to come in, grab troops with the lasso, and pull them out of the line. And they had all sorts of battle tactics. So I'll try and cover that in another video. Anyways, continuing on, you just get to see that basically they're weaving a story in and out of the cinematic that I thought was pretty cool. It sets the tone and the theme and gives you a little bit of background. Here you get to see the Coliseum a little bit, and then you're going to see the Emperor in sort of gauging the two contestants as they're fighting it out. But again, much of the graphics that we're seeing here and sort of the Coliseum and stuff like that looks a little bit basically recycled from Rome 2. You could almost imagine it being in that game. So a lot of this is obviously going to be built off the stable base of Rome 2, and then they go ahead and tweak it a little bit. And then I just decided I would take this still just because I wanted to bust a common misconception, and that is when the Emperor puts up his finger like this, or whoever the judge is, and he puts his finger down, you know, we have the impression in our eyes that thumbs down is bad, but it was actually the case that historically thumbs down meant you let the contestant actually survive, and thumbs up was the opposite. Thumbs up meant you kill him. So I think for, you know, clarity's sake, they have changed that. It's featured in Gladiator and also in this video. But I just wanted to point out that historical discrepancy. And then here we're going to see Constantinople. It's the first time we get to see this new seat of imperial power. Now the city itself was enormous, got very big, very large, very wealthy, and here you can start to see that. I love the attention to detail. All the different buildings in here look beautiful. I can't wait to play inside of the city. My main question is going to remain, do we see the Theodosian walls? And if you guys don't know what those are, it's going to be triple lined walls, huge walls that were built to defend the city, that were constructed within the time frame of this game, and it's what prevented the city from being taken by, you know, the Goths and the Huns and stuff like that. And here we start to see a little bit of the closer view of the city itself. I decided to get these shots for a couple reasons. I mean, just look at the architecture. It's very cool, very nice. I can't get enough of Constantinople. It looks great. But then also I wanted to point out, you can see the citizens in the background. I think that's relevant because they have said in some siege maps you will see citizens in the background. So I was starting to think, you know, is this what it's going to look like? And you can see two armed dudes on the left. You know, are you going to have some guard patrols inside of the city itself? You know, armed troops, just a couple here and there who can take up the siege? That would be kind of cool. But at least you can see how they fleshed out the individual civilian models a bit more than they were in Rome 2. And you can see that even more here. You can see they're more fleshed out. And I think the reason because of that is obviously they're anticipating them having civilians present on map, sort of like how the wildlife is now in Rome 2, where you can, you know, you get close to deer and then they'll scatter. You'll have civilians do the same. It's something they've stated, which I think will add an additional layer of immersion. And I hope, you know, if you attack a city, you may be able to go to the marketplace, and in the market you'll see all the civilians like this. You get close and you enter the city. Maybe they'll start panicking, running to the nearby buildings, and even maybe fight you. But that's cool. I just wanted to show off some of this. And then another element you'll see is these carts loaded with goods for trade, and that's something they talked about in the trailer was, you know, Constantinople is doing great with all the trade, but I thought that maybe these carts might be something we could see in the game. They haven't mentioned them at all, so of course take this all with a grain of salt. This is just something that was made for the campaign trailer itself, but I think it would be cool to see carts in the game as something that is tied to ambushes. So for instance, in an ambush, I think it would be cool if you had some carts tied into the back. But anyways, we'll get back to that. This next screenshot is going to be as they're talking about from the Eastern Roman Empire. They're facing off against the Goths, and this is going to be Alaric. So Alaric is going to be, he was appointed king of the Goths, and he actually served in the Roman army, and he fought with the Romans, but he was not well treated by them, and then he went back was elected king, and then he decided to go and sort of confront Rome, and he was eventually the one who went and sacked actually the city of Rome itself, but that's far down line. And this is just showing how they're causing issues. But look at this, look at the cart in the very center, and that's what I'm talking about. I hope this is something they implement in ambush battles, where not only is your army marching, but you also see these, baggage trains actually physically represented on the battle. And so instead of capture points in an ambush battle, maybe those are the capture points that are in the battle, and you have to try and defend them as the ambush player, and then as the ambusher, you want to get in and destroy those. So maybe that's something that will kick in. And then they go ahead and talk a little bit about the Sassanids. So they're going to be mostly a threat faced by the Eastern Roman Empire, and it says basically you're not quite sure what is going on with them, and so you have to be wary of their power. And this is just a view of the landscape. I thought it was interesting how you can see this tower and another one in the distance. We're used to having these towers in forts, but it seemed like right there they're out in the landscape, so maybe it's a little bit of a different type of battle. And then we go back to the Western Roman Empire. They talk a bit more about the politics of the Western Roman Empire, all the chaos and craziness that's going on there, and they say how it's weak, how the emperors all are having all sorts of issues from the outside, but more importantly from the inside. And that's what this little bit of video basically showed you, where it shows these armed troops coming in, and they're going to come in and they're going to approach what looks to be an emperor, and then you can see the familiar map in the background, and they're going to come in and they're going to stab this guy. So as the Western Roman Empire, CA has said that they're going to be, or maybe not extremely, but very hard to play as. Not only because of the external threats, but also probably a lot of internal problems. So you're going to have a lot of territory, but keeping that together is going to be very hard. And I decided to pull up an image here that I had seen on Reddit that was posted not too long ago, and it says the causes of death of Roman Empire emperors 1480, 395 AD, and you can just see how the breakdown is, and a huge portion of that is actually due to assassination. So you could just see what is happening with the emperors. Having almost a quarter of all emperors assassinated just goes to show the level of turmoil in this period. And I want to share that to you guys to contextualize a bit of what's going on in the West, and just show how crazy things are. And then towards the end, they show a Roman commander. Maybe it's Stilcho, maybe it's Flavius Aetius, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, he's going to be leading what seems to be some Roman troops into battle. The cavalry is looking good. Their formation is a little bit different. I'm not sure if they're in diamond or spread out. And then you get to see them facing off a bit against the Huns themselves. So I thought this was very cool. Very cool, to say the least. The models are looking great, and we didn't get to quite see too much of them in action, just the generic bowmen, and they're going to be shooting out the Romans. But yeah, this is going to be the first time we really see their models, what they look like in-game, and them riding around. So I think they do look good, and we'll have to wait and see what their battlefield capabilities are. And here you can see, I did want to point out, look at the Roman cav, how they're spread out, and look at the Hunnic cavalry, how they're spread out. It looks like the Hunnic cavalry is in smaller contingents that are maybe going to be made easier for them to skirmish. So I'm not quite sure if they tweaked unit size, formation, or skirmishing capabilities. I hope they did, to reflect that that's actually how the Huns fought. But in any case, this is a lot of speculation coming from stills from a trailer, but at least it is in-game footage. And then towards the end, we do get to see who is presumably Attila the Hun right here. So I thought that was really cool to see this. His model is looking great. Very, very scary. I love the theme and the look that they nailed with him. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Again, check the comments below. I will try and do at some point a history, recap of Attila Total War in the future, covering, maybe the Huns or the East and Western Roman Empire, basically the time period that's going on. But yeah, stay tuned for that in the near future. Otherwise, see you next time. Peace out.